Chosen one, heaven itself has pressed pause for you right now. Do you feel it? The atmosphere shifts when you slow down and truly listen. This is no accident. You have been stopped in your tracks because your body, your soul, and your spirit are crying out for alignment. Everything around you may look ordinary, but in this moment, heaven is reaching directly into your life to remind you that you are not just surviving, you are called to live fully and powerfully. You are not here by coincidence. You have been brought to this message because your body is demanding attention. The fatigue you've ignored, the headaches you brush aside, the endless weight you carry, it is more than biology. It is prophecy. Your body is speaking, and God is using even the whispers of your flesh to call your spirit higher. Think of yourself standing in the middle of a crowded street, with the noise of the world swirling around you. Then suddenly, a trumpet blasts above the chaos, and everyone turns their head. That is your body right now. It is the shofar of heaven, sounding a call you cannot afford to silence. You have carried burdens silently. Nights when you could not sleep. Mornings when you woke up already exhausted. Days when you plastered on a smile even though your soul was screaming. Others cannot understand why you feel so heavy. But heaven knows. The Lord sees, and He is speaking through this moment to say, you are not meant to live broken, and your frame is not random. You are fearfully and wonderfully made, designed as a temple of glory. And yet, when the temple walls crack, when the lamps burn low, when the foundation trembles, God does not abandon it. He restores. He rebuilds. He renews. According to what is revealed in the book of Proverbs, chapter 17, verse 22, a cheerful heart is good medicine, but a crushed spirit dries up the bones. Your body may feel like it is slowing down, drained, or collapsing under pressure, but this promise declares otherwise. Joy and peace are not luxuries, they are medicine. And when your heart realigns with God, your body begins to heal from the inside out. Imagine your body like a fragile glass temple set upon a hill. From a distance, it looks unbreakable, shining and radiant. But inside, cracks have formed from storms and from battles only you and God know. Yet here's the miracle. Even glass that is cracked can be mended by the master's hands. In Japan, there is an art called kintsugi, broken pottery, mended with gold, making the cracks the most beautiful part. This is what God wants to do with you. He wants to pour gold into your brokenness until your scars shine brighter than untouched glass. This moment is heaven's invitation. Conviction is not condemnation. It is a hand stretched toward you, pulling you back from collapse into restoration. The headaches, the fatigue, the anxiety, these are not just symptoms, they are signals. Heaven is telling you, it is time to align. End of quote. Stop believing the lie that pushing harder, ignoring rest, and numbing your pain will lead to victory. No battle is won by a soldier who refuses to sharpen his sword. And you, chosen one, are a warrior. Your body is your weapon. Your spirit is your fire. Both must be cared for, or you will burn out before the battle is won. Now hear this clearly. You are standing at a choice. You can dismiss this and keep running until collapse. Or you can pause, breathe, and receive what heaven is offering. The crown or collapse, that is what is before you. One leads to wholeness, the other to ruin. Which will you choose? Your presence here proves you already know the answer. Something deep within you knows this is your moment to shift. You are not reading these words by chance. You are being summoned into transformation. So, before you move forward, make this declaration public. Comment below 111. Not as a ritual, but as a prophetic act. It is your way of saying, I choose restoration now. I will not ignore my body's cry. I will not silence my spirit. I am stepping into alignment. And as you do, let this also be the moment you connect more deeply. Like, share, and subscribe, not for numbers, but because the message here is a lifeline for you and for others who don't even realize how much they need it yet. The same way heaven paused for you, it may pause for them through your share. This is only the beginning. The cracks will not break you. They will become the golden lines that prove you survived. And every step forward will reveal the unstoppable strength you didn't even know you carried. Your body speaks, louder than you admit. It whispers in the small pains. It shouts in the exhaustion that doesn't leave. What you have tried to quiet with distractions and busyness is not going away because it is not random. Your body is a vessel that refuses to be ignored any longer. Every ache is not just a medical condition. It is a prophetic signal, pointing you to truths that can no longer stay buried. Think about the way creation itself groans. The earth quakes. The seas roar. The winds howl, signs that something unseen is pressing through. In the same way, your body is groaning under the weight of what has been left unresolved. That pain in your back, the tension in your shoulders, the shallow breath when anxiety rises, these are not enemies to hate. They are messengers to hear. There was once a chosen one who spent years carrying grief in silence to everyone else. They seemed strong, even unshakable, but the body told another story. Sleepless nights piled up. A hollow ache lived in the chest. Doctors gave explanations, but deep down, the soul knew this was not only about health. This was about unhealed wounds demanding attention, and it was in listening to those signals, choosing stillness, choosing prayer, choosing honesty, that restoration began. Your story may mirror theirs. You've worn resilience like armor, but the armor has grown too heavy. Your body is crying out for you to stop treating it like an afterthought. For years, you've endured pressures, disappointments, and betrayals, telling yourself to just push through. But you cannot outrun the truth. Your flesh remembers what your mind tries to forget. The ancient words recorded in the book of Romans, chapter 8, verse 22, still echo today. We know that the whole creation has been groaning, as in the pains of childbirth, right up to the present time. Groaning is not weakness. Groaning is the body announcing that something new is trying to emerge. Just like labor pains, the signals you feel are not meant to destroy you, but to bring forth transformation. What feels unbearable today may be the very contractions of your destiny. Imagine a harp string pulled too tight. At first, it carries the tension, vibrating to produce sound. But if stretched beyond its limit, it will snap. Your body is that string. It has been pulled by deadlines, strained by burdens, tightened by emotional weight. The groaning you feel is not proof of failure, but warning. Release is required. or the music will break. And yet, hidden within the signals is also mercy. If God wanted to let you burn out completely, He would not let your body speak at all. Silence would mean abandonment. But every ache, every signal, is evidence that heaven is still fighting for you. The Spirit allows the discomfort not to punish you, but to protect you from collapse. The chosen ones throughout history faced this same tension. Elijah, after defeating the prophets of Baal, fell into despair so deep that his body gave out under a broom tree. He asked for death, convinced he was finished. Yet heaven responded, not with rebuke, but with rest and nourishment. An angel touched him and gave him bread and water, saying, "Get up and eat, for the journey is too much for you." The prophet's body was exhausted, but in that weakness, God taught him a new rhythm of restoration. You too are being invited to listen instead of ignore, to acknowledge instead of numb. Your body is not betraying you, it is begging you to heal. Picture yourself as a garden. When weeds choke the soil, flowers don't bloom. No matter how much sunlight shines, your body is that garden, signaling that certain weeds, stress, neglect, unresolved pain must be pulled up so life can thrive again. This is not about fear. This is about recognition. You have been entrusted with a vessel that carries light into dark places, and that vessel cannot be left cracked and empty. Your body's signals are not interruptions to your purpose. They are the guardrails keeping you alive long enough to fulfill it. Listen closely. You are being invited into alignment where body and spirit walk together instead of at war. And when that happens, strength will return. The signals that once frightened you will transform into testimonies of resilience. The groans will become songs. The weakness will become proof of God's power made perfect in you. Your body is speaking. Do not silence it, for in its voice, heaven is reminding you that you are still chosen, still called, and still held in the palm of His hand. You have been carrying too much, not just in your hands, but on your shoulders, in your chest, in the hidden corners of your soul. The weight is more than physical, it is emotional, spiritual, unseen by many, but deeply felt by you. You try to walk forward, but every step feels heavier because of what you refuse to lay down. There was a chosen one long ago who tried to travel across the desert. They began the journey with a bag so full of stones it nearly bent their back. Each stone represented a memory, betrayal, loss, disappointment, guilt. Day after day, the sun beat down, and the desert stretched endless. Their lips cracked, their legs shook, and yet they would not release the stones. Finally, when collapse was inevitable, they dropped the bag in the dust. And here's the miracle: the desert did not end. But suddenly the steps became lighter, the horizon closer. The weight they carried was never required. It was self-imposed. How many stones are you still carrying? A broken relationship you replay every night. Words spoken against you that still burn in your chest. The fear of failure that chains you to exhaustion. These weights are not yours to keep. You are walking with burdens that heaven never asked you to hold. The Word of God declares in the book of Hebrews, chapter 12, verse 1, "Let us throw off everything that hinders and the sin that so easily entangles, and let us run with perseverance the race marked out for us." Notice the command. Throw it off. Do not negotiate with it. Do not drag it one more mile. The command is urgent because your destiny depends on it. You cannot run while chained. You cannot fly while carrying what was never yours. Your body knows this truth before your mind admits it. Stress knots your stomach. Anxiety tightens your chest. Fatigue drags your bones. These are your inner alarms, saying, "The weight is too much." Your spirit was not designed to live forever in a storm of tension. God gave you a race, but not a prison. Think of yourself as a ship built for oceans. The ship's hull can bear the waves, the winds, even storms. But load the ship with unnecessary cargo, and it will sink before it leaves the harbor. You are that ship. The unnecessary cargo of grudges, fears, and shame is dragging you down. Release it, and you will finally move into open waters. And here is the paradox. You thought the weight was making you strong. You believed that carrying it proved your endurance. But in truth, strength is proven not in what you drag, but in what you release. Courage is not the stubbornness to keep every burden. Courage is the humility to set them down. This is your desert moment. This is the broom tree for your Elijah. This is the crossroad where you decide, do I keep carrying or do I let go? Do I keep clinging to what kills me? Or do I trust that God will hold what I cannot? And right now, I want you to mark this moment with a declaration written in your own hand. Write these words in the comments. Chains fall now. Oh, then, when you type those 3 words, you are not only describing what you want, you are proclaiming what is already beginning. You are testifying that the spiritual chains on your mind, the emotional chains on your heart, and the physical chains on your body have no right to remain. You are declaring that every invisible prison door is opening, and you are walking out free by choosing to write it. You are stepping into alignment with heaven's will. You are saying, this slavery ends today. The burden breaks here. The generational cycle is cut off in my life, and heaven hears it. The unseen realm trembles when the chosen one speaks freedom into existence. Do not underestimate this act. The desert shifts when you release. The heavens notice when you let go. The body begins to heal when the spirit chooses surrender. Even your heartbeat will testify that freedom feels lighter. So take your hands off the stones. Let the dust rise as they hit the ground. And as you release, prepare yourself. The race ahead is waiting. And you, chosen one, were made to run unchained. So step forward lighter, freer, and stronger. The road that once felt impossible will soon feel like open sky. What once crushed, you will become your testimony. You will discover that every chain broken today makes room for new strength tomorrow. Chosen one, the future no longer holds you down, it calls you higher. Your body is not ordinary. It is not simply flesh and bone, not just muscle and blood. It is a temple, a dwelling place crafted by the Creator with precision and intention. Every heartbeat is a drum, echoing heaven's rhythm. Every breath, a reminder that the Spirit of God once breathed life into dust and formed humanity with His hands. You are not random. You are designed to carry His presence. And yet, a temple can be neglected. Walls left unguarded can crack. Lamps untended can grow dim. The altar can gather dust. When that happens, the temple no longer reflects its original glory. It still stands, but without the fire burning inside. Its beauty fades. This is what happens when you ignore the sacredness of your body. Outwardly, you may keep moving, but inwardly, the flame weakens. We are reminded through the writings of Paul in the first letter to the Corinthians, chapter 6, verse 19. Do you not know that your bodies are temples of the Holy Spirit, who is in you, whom you have received from God? This is not a poetic idea, it is reality. Your body is holy space. Every decision you make about it either honors or dishonors the one who entrusted it to you. When you feed it with bitterness, when you overload it with stress, when you deny it rest, you treat the temple as common ground. But when you protect it, nourish it, and let peace dwell within, you allow heaven to shine through its walls. There is a story of a chosen one who lived with an unshakable sense of calling. They had vision, passion, and purpose, but ignored the warning signs of their body. Meals skipped, nights without rest, emotions bottled up. Eventually, their body forced them to stop, collapsing under the strain. What looked like failure was, in fact, mercy. In that season of weakness, they rediscovered the truth. The temple cannot be ignored. God's work cannot flow through a vessel that refuses to be cared for. Your own journey may feel the same. Perhaps you have been running on fumes, trying to keep commitments while your body pleads for rest. Perhaps you have numbed yourself with habits that keep you distracted but not healed. Perhaps you've looked in the mirror and seen not a temple, but a ruin. Yet listen carefully. God does not abandon his temple. He restores it. Think of Jerusalem. The temple there was destroyed, its walls burned, its gates broken. But God raised Nehemiah with a vision to rebuild, stone by stone, gate by gate. The ruins became whole again. What once seemed impossible stood tall once more. In the same way, no matter how neglected you feel, no matter how much damage has been done, restoration is still your portion. The same Spirit that raised Christ from the dead is alive in you, breathing new strength into your temple. Imagine your body as a lamp filled with oil. When the oil runs low, the flame sputters, smoke rises, and the light flickers. Without replenishment, the fire will die. But with fresh oil, the lamp glows again, steady and bright. Your body requires this same replenishment, not just with food and sleep, but with moments of peace, with words of life, with alignment to the presence of God. Neglect whispers lies. Keep going. You don't have time to rest. Ignore the signals. They don't matter. But truth reminds you that caring for your body is not selfish. It is sacred. You are not maintaining flesh for vanity's sake. You are guarding the temple so that the Spirit can move through you without resistance. When you begin to treat your body as holy, your perspective shifts. Rest is no longer laziness. It becomes obedience. Food is no longer mere consumption. It becomes fuel for purpose. Movement is no longer obligation. It becomes worship. Every action becomes a form of stewardship, a way of saying, God, this body belongs to you, me. This understanding frees you from shame. You do not need a perfect body to be a temple. You need a willing body, surrendered to the one who sanctifies it. Even in weakness, his strength is made perfect. Even in frailty, his glory can dwell. The cracks of your temple do not disqualify you. They create the very spaces where his light shines brightest. So lift your head. Your body may not feel strong now, but it is still chosen. The temple may feel weathered, but the fire can still be rekindled. Do not despise the signals it gives you. Instead, let them remind you of the sacred truth. You are a vessel of glory, called to carry His presence on earth. The world does not need more burned-out warriors. It needs chosen ones who burn with holy fire because they honor the temple entrusted to them. And that chosen one is what you are becoming, a living temple, restored and radiant, carrying heaven's flame into the dark. There are cries your soul makes that never reach your lips. These are the silent groans of your inner being, the sleepless nights, the restless heart, the heavy sighs you think no one notices, but heaven notices. Your soul is not only speaking, it is crying for you to slow down, to notice the deeper need beneath the surface. Restlessness is like a storm on the ocean. The waves crash, the winds howl, the boat rocks endlessly. No matter how hard the sailor grips the wheel, the storm still dictates the journey. That is what happens when your soul is not at peace. You keep trying to steer, but your body and spirit feel thrown in every direction. And yet, storms are not forever. They reveal what is fragile and what is strong. They remind you that calm is not the absence of waves, but the presence of trust. Your sleepless nights are not proof of failure. They are evidence that your soul is still alive, still longing for the rest that only God can give. Scripture says, in the Gospel of John, chapter 14, verse 27, "Peace I leave with you, my peace I give you. I do not give to you as the world gives. Do not let your hearts be troubled, and do not be afraid." That peace is not earned by perfection. It is received as a gift. It is not found in endless striving. It is poured into you when you surrender. There was once a chosen one who spent many nights staring at the ceiling, unable to close their eyes. Thoughts circled endlessly. What if? Why me? How long? Until exhaustion became their closest companion. But in the midst of that season, they found something unusual. One night, instead of fighting the thoughts, they prayed a simple prayer. "Lord, hold me." And like a mother rocking a restless child, the Spirit brought comfort. Not every question was answered, but the storm inside grew still. That was the beginning of renewal. You may find yourself in a similar season. Perhaps the weight of life has made your bed feel like a battlefield. Perhaps your body screams for rest while your mind refuses to quiet. But listen, you are not abandoned in this storm. Peace is still being offered to you right now. And while this message flows to you freely, I want to pause here to share something with an open heart. These words, this channel, this stream of messages, it is like a table set with food. You are welcome to eat, welcome to drink, welcome to be filled. It is never sold, never forced. But just as every table is sustained by someone preparing the meal, this table also requires oil to keep the lamp burning. If these words have touched your heart, then consider this. By liking this message, you are helping it shine brighter. By sharing it, you are extending the ripple to reach others. And by subscribing, you are choosing to remain at the table where fresh bread is always served. And if you feel stirred deeper, there is also the gift of giving. Donation is not a requirement. It is like pouring oil into a lamp so the flame can burn through the night. It is like planting a seed in good soil. Not for the soil's sake, but so that fruit can grow and others can eat. Think of it this way. You are walking through a desert, thirsty, weary, and someone offers you water freely. You drink, and you live. Then they hand you an extra jar and say, "If you wish, you can pour into this well so that the next thirsty traveler will also drink." That is what donating here means. It is not about pressure, but about participation, keeping the well flowing for those who haven't found it yet. You are free. Freely you receive. Freely you may give. And giving does not always look the same. For some, it will be prayer. For others, it will be words of encouragement in the comments. For some, it may be financial oil poured quietly, but powerfully. Every form of support is holy when it comes from the heart. So hear this: whether you give or not, whether you donate or simply listen in silence, you are loved. You are welcome at this table. But if your heart feels moved, if you sense that inner nudge, let your generosity, whether by sharing, subscribing, or donating, become part of the story of how this flame keeps burning. Because storms will continue to rage in the world, souls will continue to cry in silence. But as long as there is a flame of peace being carried through words like these, someone will find the calm they desperately need. And maybe, just maybe, the very peace you long for will come as you choose to pour out. As you step into the cycle of giving and receiving that heaven always blesses. So let your heart rest. Let your body breathe. And know that you are part of something greater. Temples being rebuilt, lamps being refilled, storms being calmed. One soul at a time. The body does not lie. You can smile for the world. You can hide behind busyness. You can silence your thoughts with noise, but the body will still speak. It reveals the truth no one else sees. The weight in your chest, the fatigue in your bones, the restlessness in your breath. These are not coincidences. They are alarms sounding from the inside. Sometimes those alarms come quietly, like a whisper in the night. Other times, they roar like thunder you cannot ignore. Either way, they carry the same message. Your body is calling you back to alignment, not punishment, but invitation, not judgment, but mercy. I think of a chosen one who once tried to live as though their body didn't matter. They fasted from rest, not food. They starved their soul of joy, not bread. Day after day, they pushed harder, convinced that success would heal the ache inside. But one morning, their body refused to rise. It was not weakness, it was divine intervention. The collapse was mercy, our redirection into restoration. What felt like the end became the beginning of a healed rhythm. And that's what is happening with you. These signals are not here to destroy you. They are heaven's way of saving you before it's too late. They are saying, pause, reset, remember who you are. The Spirit spoke through the prophet Jeremiah. Chapter 31, verse 25. I will refresh the weary and satisfy the faint. This is God's promise to your body. He does not leave the weary stranded. He does not abandon the faint-hearted. He brings renewal. He breathes life. He restores what exhaustion has stolen. Imagine your body as a vineyard. When neglected, the vines tangle, weeds choke, and fruit dries on the branch. But when cared for, when pruned, watered, and exposed to the sun, the vineyard flourishes again. Your body is that vineyard. What feels tangled and dry right now can bloom again if you respond to the signals and let the gardener tend to you. The truth is, ignoring the vineyard is easier. It's easier to keep working, keep scrolling, keep running, than it is to stop and face what is withering. But ignoring always costs more in the end. You pay with your peace, your strength, and your future. Heaven is urging you to choose differently. Your body has been too faithful for you to betray it now. It has carried you through storms, borne your scars, endured seasons of neglect, and still, it stands still. It whispers, "I'm here. Don't give up on me." The very fact that you're hearing this proves that mercy has not left you. The signals are strong because your purpose is greater than you realize. This moment is an altar, and you are standing at it. You can choose to keep ignoring the signals, or you can choose to acknowledge them as divine. One path leads to collapse, the other to renewal, and heaven, right now, is leaning toward your renewal. I want you to seal this moment, not just by reading, but by declaring with your own hands. Go into the comments and write 828. Why 828? Because it is a prophetic sign drawn from the rhythm of Romans 8:28. And we know that in all things God works for the good of those who love him. When you write 828, you are declaring, even my exhaustion, even my signals, even my broken rhythm, God is weaving them into something good. End of doll. Typing 828 is not superstition. It is surrender. It is you saying, my body's cry is not wasted. My weariness is not the end. Everything, even this fatigue, is being turned for my restoration. End of doll. By making this declaration, you are aligning yourself with heaven's order. You are telling your body, I hear you. You are telling your spirit, I will not silence you. You are telling God, I trust you to turn even this season into good. No, and do not underestimate what happens in that act. When you put faith into words, you carve an altar in time. You set a marker that says, this was the moment I chose to align again. This was the day I declared that all things, even my body's groans, are working for my good. No, so let this be your choice today. Listen to the signals. Lay down the old rhythm. Step into renewal. For you are not forgotten. You are not abandoned. And you are certainly not finished. Your body is speaking. Heaven is confirming. And now it is your turn to respond with faith, with surrender, and with the prophetic declaration that everything is being worked into your good. There is a war happening within you. Though no one else may see it, it is not a battle fought with swords or shields, but a silent clash between light and darkness, strength and weakness, health and decay. It takes place inside your body, in your thoughts, in the unseen places where spirit and flesh meet. And though invisible to others, you feel it every day. Fatigue does not arrive by chance. Anxiety is not a random visitor. They are the marks of warfare. When you wake up already tired, when your chest tightens at the thought of tomorrow, when your body aches without clear reason, these are signs that an enemy is trying to weaken the vessel chosen to carry destiny. But the fact that you feel this battle proves something greater. You are significant enough to be targeted. Darkness does not waste its efforts on empty vessels. It focuses its attacks on those who carry light, because light exposes shadows, your very existence, your very calling. threatens what the enemy wants to keep hidden. That is why the attacks have been so personal, so persistent, so relentless. The Apostle reminds us in his letter to the Ephesians, chapter 6, verse 12, "For our struggle is not against flesh and blood, but against the rulers, against the authorities, against the powers of this dark world, and against the spiritual forces of evil in the heavenly realms." You are not fighting your body as an enemy. You are not at war with yourself. The real struggle is deeper. The body is simply where the battle shows its symptoms. It is the battlefield, not the opponent. That shift in perspective matters, because once you recognize the real fight, you can also recognize that victory is not about crushing yourself, but about aligning yourself with the greater strength available through God. Think of a fortress under siege. The walls show cracks. The gates rattle. The supplies run low. If you judged only by what you see, you would think the fortress is failing. But the truth is, the fortress still stands. Every crack is not evidence of defeat, but evidence of resistance. The enemy attacks because the fortress is worth capturing. That fortress is you. Your body feels the tremors because your calling shakes the ground. Your sleepless nights, your weary mornings, your restless thoughts are the vibrations of a spiritual clash. And yet, the fact that you are still standing, still breathing, still listening proves that you are not losing, you are enduring. History is full of chosen ones who carried battles in their bodies. Paul himself spoke of a thorn in the flesh, something that weakened him but never silenced him. David faced exhaustion in caves before he wore a crown. Even Jesus, in the Garden of Gethsemane, sweated drops like blood under the weight of his assignment. The body bore the war, but the spirit triumphed through surrender. You are not exempt from this pattern, and that is not bad news. It is holy confirmation. The war inside of you is proof of the mantle on you. The tension in your frame is evidence that something eternal rests within you. If you were ordinary, you would feel nothing but numbness. But because you are chosen, you feel the strain of carrying glory in fragile clay jars. Imagine your body as a violin. The strings must be stretched tight to make music. If too loose, no sound emerges. If too tight, the string risks snapping. Right now, you are the violin tuned by heaven. The tension you feel is not purposeless. It is what makes your song possible. And though the enemy tries to break the strings, the master's hands know just how to keep them tuned for the melody you are meant to play. So do not despise the warfare inside you. Do not mistake the symptoms for defeat. Every ache is evidence of the fight, and every fight is evidence of value. You are worth the battle. Your destiny is worth protecting. And though you may feel weary, you are not abandoned on this battlefield. The unseen war inside you is real, but so is the victory already spoken over you. Your body may feel the strain, but your spirit holds the promise. You are more than a conqueror. The fortress will stand, the violin will sing, and the war inside will only prove how unstoppable you truly are. So hold steady in the tension, knowing the fire inside you is not burning you down, it is forging you. The unseen war is shaping you into unshakable strength. There comes a point when the body itself demands what the soul has long neglected: rest. Not rest as the world defines it. A quick pause before rushing back into chaos, but a holy rest. The kind written into creation from the very beginning. When God shaped the heavens and the earth, He did not rest because He was tired. He rested because He was finished. His rest sanctified the rhythm of life. And you, chosen one, are being called back into that rhythm. Your body was not designed to run endlessly without pause. It is not a machine of steel that never rusts. It is a sacred vessel that requires care, balance, and replenishment. Ignoring that rhythm only leads to collapse, but entering it brings alignment, clarity, and strength. The ancient words in the book of Exodus, chapter 20, verse 10, echo this truth. But the seventh day is a Sabbath to the Lord your God. On it you shall not do any work. Oh, this was not a command of restriction. It was a gift of freedom. God was saying, you are not a slave to endless labor. You are mine, and I give you permission to rest. Even today, that same invitation stands. Picture a bowstring pulled tight for too long. At first it holds, but over time the fibers fray, the tension weakens, and the bow loses its power. The only way for it to remain strong is to release it, to let the string recover its form. Your body is that bowstring. If you refuse release, if you deny rest, your strength will not hold. But with rest, you regain the force to send arrows flying farther than before. Rest is not weakness. Rest is an act of warfare. It is saying to the enemy, you cannot burn me out. I will not run until I collapse. I choose to live by heaven's rhythm, not the world's demands. Rest is obedience. Rest is trust. Rest is worship. There is a story of a chosen one who lived constantly on edge, moving from task to task without pause. They called it productivity, but inside they were hollow. Sleep was shallow. Thoughts were restless. The body ached from neglect. One day, they stopped, not because they wanted to, but because their body demanded it. In the stillness, they discovered what had been missing all along. God's presence was waiting in the quiet, and in that stillness, their body healed, their mind cleared, their spirit breathed again. Your own story may carry the same truth. Perhaps your bed has felt like a battlefield, your mornings like burdens, your days like endless cycles. But even now, heaven is whispering, rest is not optional. It is sacred. Rest is not lazy. It is holy. Not. Think of a tree in winter. To the eye, it looks barren, lifeless, stripped of beauty. But within, roots grow deeper, storing strength for the season ahead. The stillness of winter prepares the explosion of spring. Your rest works the same. When you pause, when you lie still, when you allow yourself to breathe, you are not wasting time. You are deepening roots. You are gathering unseen strength for the season where fruit will be required. Without rest, even the strongest falter. Without rest, even prophets collapse under broom trees. Without rest, even kings lose their crowns. But with rest, the weary rise again. The faint find new strength, and the chosen ones become unshakable. Do not despise the quiet. Do not fear the pause. In the silence of true rest, you will hear the whispers of heaven more clearly than in the noise of endless motion. And in that rest, your body will find the healing it has been demanding. So lay down the burden for a moment. Let the bowstring release. Let the tree root deeper. Let the temple lamps refill their oil. For in rest, You are not stepping back. You are stepping into the rhythm of God, where strength is renewed, purpose clarified, and the body restored. So pause. Even now, let your heart loosen its grip. Let your lungs fill fully, as though each breath is proof that heaven has not abandoned you. Rest is more than sleep. It is the soft blanket of God's presence wrapping around you when the world grows cold. It is the whisper that says, "You are safe here." And in that safety, strength returns. Your bones will not always feel heavy. Your eyes will not always sting with weariness. Renewal is already beginning. Kudas, quietly, deeply, invisibly like roots drinking water beneath the soil. The world may rush, but you do not have to. Rest is holy. Rest is yours. Life often brings you to a crossroads, to keep pushing until you collapse, or to choose the crown that was always meant for you. Your body knows this tension. It trembles when you are near the edge. It cries when you try to ignore what can no longer be ignored. This moment is not random. It is a crown or collapse moment. Think of the runner at the final stretch of a race. Sweat pours. Lungs burn. Legs feel like stone. But in the distance, the crown waits. One more step. One more breath. And the finish line is crossed. The body screams for surrender. But the spirit whispers, "Not yet. There is more ahead." That is the very place you stand now. The Word of God declares in the second letter to Timothy, chapter 4, verse 8, "Now there is in store for me the crown of righteousness, which the Lord, the righteous judge, will award to me on that day." The choice is real. Collapse says, "I can't go on." The crown says, "I will not give up here." Heaven offers the same question to you. Which will you choose? There was a chosen one who nearly gave everything away because of exhaustion. They had dreams, vision, and purpose, but the heaviness grew too much. One night, standing on the edge of surrender, they whispered, "God, if you are still with me, show me." And in the stillness, a peace came so heavy, it felt like a cloak dropped over their shoulders. They realized the crown was closer than the collapse. That moment marked their return to destiny. You may feel like them right now, standing at your own edge. Your heart races. Your body shakes. Your mind argues. But listen carefully. You are not meant to end in collapse. You are meant to stand crowned, chosen, and radiant. Picture a tree beaten by storm winds, branches bent, leaves scatter. The trunk shakes. To the eye, it looks near breaking, but when the storm passes, the tree still stands. And not only that, the storm has driven its roots deeper. You are that tree. This storm is not proof of your weakness. It is the reason your roots will grow stronger. And now, I want you to respond with faith, not silence. Write this in the comments. I choose light. These 3 words are more than a phrase. They are a declaration of direction. When you type, I choose light, you are refusing collapse and choosing clarity. You are saying, I will not dwell in darkness. I will not surrender to despair. I align myself with the light that guides me forward. Light has always been stronger than darkness. Even the smallest flame drives shadows away. By declaring, I choose light, you are igniting that flame inside your temple. You are testifying that your crown is not in shadows, but in radiance. not in despair, but in hope. This choice will echo beyond the screen. It will remind your spirit that you are not bound by the weight of night. It will tell your body that renewal is coming with the dawn. It will tell heaven that you have aligned yourself with truth, with goodness, with the unshakable light of God. So let these words be your anchor in this moment. Let them stand as a marker in your journey, for collapse is not your ending. The crown is not far, and the light you choose today will illuminate the path ahead. So when you declare, "I choose light," you are not just typing a sentence, you are shaping the atmosphere of your life. Darkness loses its grip when light is chosen. This is not positive thinking. This is spiritual alignment. Light is not an idea. It is a person. It is truth. It is the very presence of God. To choose light is to say, "I welcome His guidance, His peace, His healing into every corner of my being." Oh, think of a room long shut with windows closed. Dust gathers. Air grows heavy. Shadows claim the walls. But the moment one window is opened and sunlight breaks in, everything changes. The dust becomes visible. The shadows retreat. The air feels alive again. That is what you are declaring. Your body, mind, and soul are that room. And when you say, "I choose light," you are opening the window for heaven's brightness to flood in. And as that light enters, it does more than chase away shadows. It reveals your crown waiting in plain sight. The crown was never lost, only hidden in the dark. Choosing light uncovers it, places it before you, and reminds you, you were always meant to wear it. Strength renewed like eagles, that is the promise spoken over you. Your body may feel weary now. Your spirit may feel drained. But this is not the end of your vitality. Renewal is coming. And when it comes, it will not be small. It will be like the eagle stretching its wings, catching the wind, and rising above storms that once seemed impossible. But renewal does not come by chance. It comes when you allow heaven's rhythm to take hold of your life. Eagles do not rise by flapping harder. They rise by waiting for the right current of wind. Your body is teaching you the same truth. You cannot fight forever in your own strength. You must learn to soar by resting in the current of God's Spirit. The ancient words recorded in the book of Psalms, chapter 73, verse 26 say, "My flesh and my heart may fail, but God is the strength of my heart and my portion forever." Imagine a candle burning in the night. If the flame is left alone without more wax or oil, eventually it will flicker and fade. But if replenished, the flame does not just survive, it grows steadier, brighter, capable of pushing back darkness even longer. That is what happens when you allow your body and spirit to be refilled. You stop flickering, and you begin to shine again. Think of a field after harvest. The soil looks bare, empty, even lifeless. But when rain falls and seeds are sown, life bursts forth again in green shoots and harvest returns. Your exhaustion is not proof that you are finished. It is simply the sign that it is time for rain and seed again, time for God to pour strength into you. This message itself is part of that rain. Words like these are not mere sentences. They are streams flowing toward you, meant to water dry ground. And if this stream has refreshed you, then let me pause to speak gently, sincerely, and openly. If these words have met you in your weariness, then by liking and subscribing, You are helping to keep this stream flowing, not only for you, but for countless others who are also thirsty. Every click is like opening another channel in the river, letting it reach villages and fields you may never see. And when you share, it is like passing a cup of water to someone fainting by the roadside. You may never know their name. You may never see their face. But your act of sharing becomes their lifeline. For some, the calling goes even deeper. Donation is not an obligation. It is an offering of oil to keep the lamp burning through the long night. Picture a lighthouse on a rocky coast. Ships lost in fog depend on its light. If the keeper runs out of oil, the light dies, and the ships are left to drift. Donating here is like handing oil to the keeper, ensuring that the flame never goes out, that ships still find their way. And yet, let this be clear, whether you give or not, you are welcomed the same. The table remains open. The stream continues to flow. Donation is never the price of entry. It is simply a way for those who feel moved to pour back into the well that has poured into them. Every form of support, prayer, comment, subscription, donation is part of the same beautiful cycle of giving and receiving. You are not pressured. You are invited. You are not buying. You are building. And the joy of it is this: when you choose to support, you become part of the very story of renewal. You are helping someone else find strength like eagles, even as you receive your own. Chosen one. Picture yourself again as that eagle. The storm rages. The wind howls. The ground is far below. But instead of flapping wildly in panic, you spread your wings and let the current lift you higher. That current is hope. That current is trust. That current is the invisible support of heaven, carrying you where your own strength could never take you. And just as the eagle does not rise alone, you are not meant to rise alone either. Community, connection, generosity, they are the winds beneath your wings. Each act of love, each ripple of support, becomes part of the current that carries you higher. So breathe deep. Let your body rest. Let your soul open. Renewal is not coming from more striving. It is coming from surrender. And when the strength arrives, you will not crawl. You will not stumble. You will soar. Your wings are not broken. Your destiny is not delayed. You are simply being prepared for a flight higher than you have ever known. And as you rise, your story of renewal will be a beacon for others, calling them to lift their own wings and fly. Food has always been more than fuel. From the first fruits offered on altars to the manna that fell in the desert, what we consume has always carried weight beyond the physical. Your body, chosen one, is not just asking to be filled, it is asking to be nourished. What you take in becomes part of the temple itself. It either strengthens the walls or weakens them. It either feeds the fire of your spirit or smothers it slowly. Think of the Israelites wandering through the wilderness. They cried for bread, and heaven answered with manna, daily provision that could not be hoarded. It taught them dependence, rhythm, and trust. Food was never just about survival, it was about shaping their spirit. In the same way, what you feed yourself today is shaping your tomorrow. The Word of God speaks clearly in the book of Proverbs, chapter 25, verse 27. It is not good to eat too much honey, nor is it honorable to search out matters that are too deep. And this verse whispers wisdom. Even sweetness can become sickness if consumed without restraint. even good things, if misused, can weigh you down. Your body is not built to thrive on excess. It is built to flourish on balance. Picture your body as a sacred lamp. The oil poured in determines the quality of the flame. If the oil is pure, the flame burns bright and steady. If the oil is tainted, the light flickers and smoke fills the air. What you eat, what you drink, what you meditate on, these are the oils of your lamp. Pure oil brings clarity. Polluted oil clouds the temple. There was a chosen one who learned this truth painfully. They lived chasing instant pleasures, filling their table with whatever dulled the ache inside. Sweetness, salt, abundance yet emptiness still followed. Their body weakened, their mind fogged, their spirit dimmed. Only when they began to treat food not as escape, but as offering did everything shift. Meals became prayer. Nourishment became worship. And slowly, the body remembered its purpose as a temple of light. Your own life carries the same invitation. Every bite, every choice, is a reminder. You are not just feeding hunger, you are fueling destiny. Consider the way a tree draws from soil. If the ground is rich, the tree flourishes with leaves and fruit. If the ground is poisoned, the roots absorb death. The tree cannot choose the soil it grows in, but you, chosen one, can choose the soil you feed yourself from. You can decide whether your body drinks life or death, clarity or confusion. The temptation is always for convenience. Quick food, quick relief, quick satisfaction. But convenience often robs you of strength later. The enemy is subtle. He does not always attack with obvious poison, but with patterns that erode slowly, habits that weaken your vessel, one small decision at a time. And yet, the path back is not complicated. God does not ask for perfection, but for attention. Pay attention to your temple. Pay attention to the oil you pour into it. Pay attention to the signals your body sends after you feed it. It is not random when fatigue follows certain choices. It is not coincidence when clarity flows from others. Your temple is wise enough to tell you what honors it. Food for the chosen is never about indulgence or denial alone. It is about alignment. It is not a law to crush you. It is a wisdom to free you, to eat mindfully, to nourish intentionally, to receive with gratitude. These are acts of worship as holy as any prayer. Imagine sitting at a table prepared by God Himself. Every dish is chosen not just for taste, but for life. Some are sweet, some are bitter, some are plain, but all are necessary. That is what heaven offers you daily, a table where nourishment flows for body, soul, and spirit. Your part is to eat with eyes open, to choose not only what satisfies now, but what sustains later. In doing so, you will discover that your body no longer drags behind your spirit, it walks in rhythm with it. The temple shines when it is fed with holy fire. The lamp glows when it receives pure oil. And your body, chosen one, will flourish when you choose food that builds, not breaks. This is the invitation of heaven, to let even your meals become part of your worship. So let each bite remind you, you are not ordinary. You are chosen. Let every meal become a prayer of gratitude. Every sip, a covenant of life. Even in eating, you honor the one who dwells within you. Thirst is not only a physical signal, it is spiritual. Your body longs for water, but your soul longs for the living water that never runs dry. When you feel parched, when even rest does not refresh you, that is the cry of your inner being reminding you, I was made for more than this dryness. Oh, water is not optional for life, it is the foundation. A body deprived of it weakens quickly. Muscles ache. Vision blurs. Thoughts slow. And the same happens to the soul when it is cut off from the living streams of heaven. You cannot walk your path, much less run your race, without being filled. Jesus himself declared in the Gospel of John, chapter 7, verse 38, "Whoever believes in me, as Scripture has said, rivers of living water will flow from within them." Notice that promise, rivers, not drops. He does not offer you a sip to survive. He offers you an overflowing stream to carry you forward. Picture a desert wanderer stumbling under the sun, lips cracked, vision hazy. Just when collapse feels certain, they discover a hidden spring. The water does not just quench it, revives, bringing clarity, energy, and strength to keep walking. That is what heaven is offering you now. There was once a chosen one who lived years without quenching their inner thirst. Success surrounded them, yet emptiness lingered. No matter how much they achieved, they felt dry inside. It was only when they stopped drinking from broken wells, habits, distractions, counterfeit comforts, that they finally turned to the spring of life. And in that moment, everything shifted. Joy returned. Peace flowed. The dryness ended. Your own body knows this truth. Headaches, tension, fatigue, sometimes they are simply the cry for water. And spiritually, the same symptoms appear. Hopelessness, confusion, weariness. These are your soul's dry lips whispering, drink. Imagine your life as a garden. Without water, the soil hardens, the flowers droop, the fruit withers. But when the rain falls, roots expand, colors return, fragrance fills the air. You are that garden. Heaven is ready to send its rain. You must only open yourself to receive. And now, I want you to do something simple but prophetic. Go into the comments and write 212. No, why 212? Because it is the exact temperature in Fahrenheit where water begins to boil, where still water transforms into steam, releasing power far beyond its quiet form. By typing 212, you are declaring, I am not staying lukewarm. I am ready to reach the point of transformation, where the water within me turns into power that carries me forward. No, this is not superstition. It is agreement. Agreement with your body's cry for renewal. Agreement with your spirit's need for the living water. Agreement with God's promise that rivers will flow within you. When you write 212, you are telling heaven, I choose to drink deeply. I will not settle for dryness. I will not live half-filled. I am stepping into overflow. Let this be your act of faith today. A simple number, yet a mighty declaration. For the same God who turned bitter water sweet, who struck the rock in the desert, who poured living streams into barren hearts, He is the one who will quench your thirst now. The dryness will not define you. The thirst will not destroy you. The rivers are waiting, and they are about to flow. So when you type 212, remember, you are not just entering digits. You are declaring that the still waters inside of you will not remain stagnant. They will reach the boiling point of transformation. Water at room temperature can refresh, but water at boiling point has power. It purifies. It steams. It moves machinery. Your spirit is the same. Ordinary refreshment is good, but heaven is inviting you into a stage where your life becomes force, movement, and breakthrough. Think of a teapot on the stove. At first, the water is silent. Then bubbles appear, gentle and almost hidden. But when the heat continues, the water roars, the whistle sounds, and transformation cannot be ignored. That is what your number 212 means. Your life is no longer silent. You are reaching the place where heaven's fire makes you roar with purpose. This choice is not about numbers. It is about surrender. When you declare 212, you are telling your soul, I welcome the fire that brings transformation. I will not remain lukewarm. I am ready for the boiling point where God's power within me is fully released. And when that happens, dryness becomes overflow. Weariness becomes strength. You are no longer a desert. You are a river carrying life wherever you flow. There is something burning within you, though at times it feels more like a burden than a gift. It is a fire you did not start and cannot extinguish. A flame that rests deep in your bones. Sometimes it roars. Sometimes it smolders. But it is always there, reminding you that you are not ordinary. You are marked by something holy, something eternal. The prophet Jeremiah knew this feeling well. In one of his most vulnerable confessions, he described the word of God inside him as fire in his bones. He said he tried to hold it in, but it became unbearable. That image is not just ancient poetry. It is your reality. You know the tension of carrying a calling so strong that silence feels like suffocation. The Spirit spoke through the prophet Jeremiah. Chapter 20. Verse 9. His word is in my heart like a fire shut up in my bones. I am weary of holding it in. Indeed, I cannot. End of clav. That fire inside of you is not your enemy. It is your identity. It is the holy spark that terrifies darkness. The inner flame that refuses to let you settle for an average life. You may call it restlessness. You may mistake it for frustration. But truly, it is the evidence that heaven has entrusted you with more. Picture a blacksmith's forge. The iron placed within it is ordinary when cold, but when the fire consumes it, the metal softens and becomes shapeable. It can be bent, molded, transformed into something useful, even glorious. The fire in your bones is that forge. It may feel uncomfortable. It may even burn at times. But it is shaping you into the vessel heaven requires. There was once a chosen one who spent years running from their inner fire. They sought distractions, silenced their thoughts, buried themselves in busyness. Yet no matter how far they went, the fire followed. It whispered at night, roared in the quiet, refused to be extinguished. Finally, exhausted from resistance, they surrendered, and in that surrender, the fire became their strength, igniting purpose they never imagined. Your own journey may feel similar. Perhaps you have mistaken the fire for punishment. Perhaps you have thought, why can't I just be normal? But the truth is, the fire is proof that you were never meant to be normal. You were meant to be set apart. Think of a torch in the night. To carry fire means to be visible. It means shadows will notice you. Enemies may pursue you. But it also means travelers in the dark will find hope because of your light. That is what the fire in your bones is, for it is not only for you, but for those who will see it and find their way. The weight of this fire is real. It makes you restless in comfort zones. It refuses to let you stay in places you've outgrown. It presses you into growth, even when you resist. But though it feels heavy, it is holy. It is the sign that heaven trusts you enough to carry something dangerous to darkness. Do not despise the fire. Do not call it a curse. It is the mark of the chosen. It is the whisper that you are meant to disrupt, to challenge, to ignite. And while others may be content with lukewarm lives, you will never be satisfied unless you let the flame within you burn fully. Imagine your bones as hollow tubes of clay, without fire. They are fragile, brittle, easily broken. But when fire fills them, they become vessels of unshakable strength. That is what is happening inside you now. The fire is not hollowing you out. It is filling you with resilience, with vision, with power. Yes, fire consumes, but it also purifies. It burns away what is false, so that what is eternal remains. That unease you feel is the refining process. The fire is removing what cannot last, so that your true identity can shine. So, chosen one, embrace what is in you. Stop fearing it. Stop resisting it. The fire in your bones is not here to destroy you. It is here to define you. Let it burn. Let it guide. Let it transform you into the torchbearer you were always meant to be. The world does not need another shadow. It needs light. It needs fire. And heaven has placed that fire inside of you. So rise with it. Let the fire in your bones become your testimony. What others fear will consume them is the very thing that fuels you. You are not ordinary. You are flame, chosen to shine. Seasons are woven into the fabric of creation. The earth does not remain in perpetual summer or endless winter. It turns, shifts, and moves through cycles of birth, growth, rest, and renewal. In the same way, your life carries seasons, and your body reflects them more than you often realize. There are times when energy flows like spring rivers, fresh and unstoppable. You wake with vision. You move with momentum. You feel carried by unseen currents. But there are other times when energy fades like autumn leaves, when your body longs to slow, to shed what no longer serves, to prepare for quiet. Both seasons are holy. Both seasons are necessary. We find this wisdom written in the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 3, verse 1. There is a time for everything, and a season for every activity under the heavens. Olay. Your struggle begins when you try to force one season into another, when you demand spring's blossoms in the middle of winter. Exhaustion follows. When you expect harvest in the time of planting, disappointment consumes. Your body knows this, even when your mind resists. That is why fatigue often comes not as weakness, but as a reminder that you are fighting the wrong season. Think of a farmer who plants seed. They do not dig up the ground tomorrow to demand fruit. They trust the unseen process, allowing rain and sun to do their work. To fight the rhythm would be foolish. To trust it is wisdom. Your body is like that soil, carrying seeds of strength, but requiring patience for them to grow. There was once a chosen one who despised waiting seasons. They prayed for acceleration, begged for harvest, demanded fruit out of time. They worked their body to the breaking point, thinking they could force destiny. But eventually, the season itself stopped them. Their body collapsed. And only in the stillness did they realize the truth. Waiting was not punishment. It was protection. You may find yourself in a similar place. Perhaps you have been running as though you are in summer, though your body whispers that it is winter. Perhaps you have tried to harvest when you were meant to plant, and the signals you feel weariness, stress, depletion are simply your body aligning with a season you refuse to recognize. But hear this, every season has beauty. Winter is not death, it is preparation. Spring is not instant harvest, it is beginning. Summer is not forever abundance, it is growth under heat. Autumn is not loss, it is transition. Your body mirrors these rhythms because heaven wrote them into creation. Picture a tree. In spring, buds emerge, fragile yet full of promise. In summer, fruit grows heavy, branches stretch to capacity. In autumn, leaves fall, releasing what is no longer needed. In winter, the tree rests, roots digging deep. At every stage, the tree is alive, purposeful, beautiful. At no stage is it abandoned. Your body is that tree. It is not broken because it needs rest. It is not failing because it slows. It is simply obeying the rhythm of heaven's seasons. To deny that rhythm is to break yourself. To embrace it is to flourish. The world worships constant growth, constant output, constant speed. But heaven calls you to cycles, to sacred pauses. Your exhaustion is not rebellion against destiny. It is your body begging you to honor the season you are in. So, ask yourself, what season am I resisting? Am I planting while longing for harvest? Am I harvesting while refusing to rest? Am I enduring winter while dreaming of spring? When you align with your true season, peace returns. There is deep wisdom in trusting timing. Just as fruit picked too early is sour, so too is destiny when rushed. And just as fruit left too long rots, so too is opportunity when ignored. Your body is heaven's calendar, showing you when to move and when to pause. Do not resent your season. Do not despise the signals. They are not enemies, they are guides. Trust them. Trust the cycle written into creation itself. And when you do, you will find strength even in waiting. You will discover purpose even in slowing. And one day, you will look back and see that every season, even the hardest ones, was preparing you for the fullness of who you are becoming. So let today's season speak to you. Do not rush past it. Do not curse it. Even this moment holds hidden treasure. Your body is wiser than you think. Listen, align, and you will discover heaven's rhythm shaping your every step. Every battle you have endured has left a mark on your body. Some marks are visible scars on the skin, weariness in the eyes. Others are invisible aches that never leave, memories etched into the soul. But each mark carries a story, and every story testifies to survival. You are still here, still breathing, still chosen. That itself is victory. The Apostle Paul once spoke of carrying in his body the marks of Christ. He was not ashamed of his scars. He wore them as evidence that he had endured, that he had followed the narrow path despite opposition. In the same way, your body testifies. It tells the truth of every valley you crossed, every mountain you climbed, every night you thought you would not make it, and yet you did. It is written in the book of Galatians, chapter 6, verse 17. From now on, let no one cause me trouble, for I bear on my body the marks of Jesus, chosen one. Your marks are not disqualifications. They are qualifications. They are proof that you have been in the fire and yet not consumed. Proof that storms raged, but your foundation stood. Proof that you were struck, but not destroyed. Imagine a warrior's shield, dented and scratched from battle. To the untrained eye, it looks battered, but to the warrior, every dent is a reminder, I survived. I stood. I defended what mattered. Your body is that shield. The marks upon it are not shame, they are honor. There was once a chosen one who carried deep fatigue in their frame. They saw it as weakness, as failure, as proof they had lost the fight. But then they began to view their body differently, not as broken, but as a living testimony. Every scar became a story of grace. Every ache reminded them they had endured. What once felt like shame became their crown. This is what heaven is whispering to you now. Your body's marks are not endings. They are beginnings. They are signposts declaring that your journey still continues. And if these words are water to your weary soul, if they have touched you where others could not, let me speak to you with gentleness. This message, this space, is like a great fire built in the middle of a cold night. You are welcome to draw near, to warm yourself, to let the flames of truth restore you. The fire does not charge you for its heat. It burns freely. But fires need wood to keep glowing. When you choose to like and subscribe, you are adding wood to the fire, ensuring it does not fade but grows stronger, warmer, brighter for others to gather around. And when you share, you are not just clicking a button, you are carrying a torch into the dark, handing it to another traveler who may be freezing in silence. You may never know the life that is warmed because you passed the flame, but heaven says, for some, the invitation goes deeper. Donation is not demanded. It is like placing your own piece of wood on the fire, not because the fire would reject you without it, but because you want to see it blaze higher, to see more people find warmth in its glow. It is not obligation. It is participation. It is a way of saying, this fire has warmed me. Let it warm others too. End quote. And here is one more step you can take to mark this moment. Leave a comment below saying, the fire lives. When you write those words, you are not just responding to me, you are testifying to yourself and to heaven. You are declaring, my flame is not gone. My light has not died. Even through scars, the fire within me still burns. It is your spark added to the circle of fire, your witness that becomes part of something larger than yourself. Every act of support, whether a like, a share, a comment, a donation, is sacred when it is born of the heart. None are small in heaven's eyes. Each one is a spark, and sparks together become an unquenchable blaze. So let your response be an offering, not of pressure, but of gratitude. If these words have found you, warmed you, lifted you, then consider passing it on, not because you must, but because it is beautiful to keep the fire alive for others. You are not just a listener. You are part of this circle of flame. Every time you engage, you strengthen the glow. And every time you strengthen the glow, Another weary traveler finds their way home. Chosen one. Your scars are not shame, they are proof of survival. Your support is not obligation, it is a spark of generosity. Together, they form a testimony so radiant that even darkness trembles. So rise, not hiding your marks, but wearing them as honor. And as you do, let your flame join this fire, that the night may never grow cold again. There is a mystery woven into your being that few truly see. You are not only flesh, not only thought, not only breath, you are light. Your body is more than a temple of clay. It is a vessel designed to radiate a brilliance that terrifies darkness. This is why the battles have been so fierce. It is not merely about your health, your peace, or your energy. It is about your light. From the very beginning, light was the first word spoken into chaos. Let there be light. And the void obeyed. That same creative command still echoes inside you. When you rise each day, when you refuse despair, when you walk in faith, light pushes back the shadows around you. The enemy knows this. He fears the glow you carry, even when you cannot see it yourself. The prophet wrote in the book of Micah, chapter 7, verse 8, "Though I sit in darkness, the Lord will be my light." Your body reflects this truth, even in its weakness. It houses radiance, even in fatigue. The glow remains. It may dim at times, but it cannot be extinguished. For you were chosen not just to survive, but to shine. Picture a lantern carried into a cave. The walls loom close. The air feels suffocating. Shadows stretch endlessly. But when the lantern is lit, the cave is no longer the same. Corners become visible. Pathways open. Fear subsides. That is what your presence does in dark places. You are the lantern, and the flame within you alters the entire atmosphere. There was a chosen one who lived for years unaware of their light. They thought themselves small, ordinary, invisible. But others saw differently. Strangers were drawn to them, comforted by their presence, strengthened by their words. Only later did they realize the truth. The light was never meant to be seen by themselves first. It was meant to be seen by those walking in darkness. Perhaps you too underestimate your glow. Perhaps you dismiss your impact, convincing yourself you are unnoticed. But heaven says, heaven knows. Light does not need recognition to be powerful. It simply shines. And in shining, it transforms. Think of the stars above. From Earth they appear tiny, fragile, distant. Yet each one burns with fire vast enough to illuminate galaxies. You may feel small, but your light reaches farther than you imagine. It crosses rooms, shifts atmospheres, alters futures. The person who sits beside you, the one who hears your words, the one who simply notices your resilience, they are touched by a radiance you often cannot perceive. And here is the greater mystery. Darkness itself becomes the canvas for your glow. Without night, stars would go unseen. Without shadow, lanterns would not be valued. Without caves, torches would not reveal paths. In the same way, the battles you endure are not evidence of failure. They are evidence of your light being revealed in contrast to shadow. This is why your body matters. This is why your choices matter. When you tend to the vessel, when you listen to its signals, when you honor its rhythms, you do not just preserve health, you preserve the lamp that carries the flame. A broken lamp still shines, but a cared-for lamp glows brighter, longer, reaching further. Imagine yourself as a stained glass window. From the outside, the pieces may look fragmented, broken, even sharp, but when light shines through, every crack becomes part of a masterpiece. Every color ignites with meaning. That is you, your scars, your struggles, your story. When heaven's light passes through, they do not diminish you, they make you radiant. Do not despise your glow. Do not call yourself too dim. You are light in motion, fire in clay, radiance wrapped in weakness. And every time you rise from the ground, every time you endure another day, every time you choose faith over fear, you terrify the shadows. Chosen one, you are a body of light, and though darkness presses close, though weariness weighs heavy, the glow within you is not fading, it is intensifying. One day, you will look back and see that every moment of struggle, every season of shadow, was not proof of loss, but proof of transformation. The darker the night became, the brighter your light revealed itself to be. So shine, not with effort, but with being. Shine, not because you try, but because you are. The vessel may tremble, but the flame remains, and the flame within you will not go out. Wholeness has always been the goal, not fragments of strength scattered here and there, not moments of peace that slip through your fingers, but a crown of completeness, spirit, mind, and body woven into one. This is the destiny of the chosen, not merely to endure, but to stand crowned in wholeness. The journey here has not been easy. You have known what it is to feel divided within yourself. One day, your spirit soared, while your body lagged behind. Another day, your body pushed forward while your mind collapsed in exhaustion. You have lived in seasons where everything felt out of rhythm, where your own being seemed like an unfinished song. And yet, through every discordant note, heaven was shaping you toward harmony. It was proclaimed in the first letter to the Thessalonians, chapter 5, verse 23. May God Himself, the God of peace, sanctify you through and through. May your whole spirit, soul and body be kept blameless at the coming of our Lord Jesus Christ. Oh, this is not a distant hope, it is a present promise. Wholeness is not reserved for eternity alone, it begins now, here, within you. Picture a crown forged by a master craftsman. Each jewel is chosen with care, each curve shaped with precision. Alone, the jewels have beauty, but only when set together into one piece do they reveal their true brilliance. Your body, mind, and spirit are those jewels. Alone, they have value, but together, they form the crown you were meant to wear. There was once a chosen one who lived long years, fractured. Their body was weary, their mind tormented, their spirit silenced. They thought this division was their identity, a permanent sentence. But over time, through surrender and restoration, the fractures began to heal. Slowly, they realized they were not broken beyond repair. They were being pieced back together for greater glory. In the end, their very wholeness became their testimony. So it will be with you. The cracks you see now are not evidence of ruin. They are the spaces where light will enter. The dissonance you hear is not endless chaos. It is the tuning before the symphony. The exhaustion you feel is not your finale, it is the breath before a new beginning. Imagine a mosaic on the ground. Shattered pieces, scattered in every direction. To the eye, it looks ruined, worthless, but in the hands of an artist, every shard is gathered, every fragment set in place, and what once looked broken becomes a masterpiece. That is your story. Heaven is the artist, and your wholeness is the masterpiece being revealed. This crown of wholeness is not merely for your sake. It is for those who will see you and know that restoration is possible. When you stand whole, you become a living testimony that brokenness does not have the last word. You become a signpost pointing to the one who heals, not partially, but fully. Chosen one. You may feel the weight of the crown before you see its beauty. You may feel the pressure of being reshaped before you understand the design. But the crown is not a burden, it is your identity. It fits you because you were always meant to wear it. Lift your head. Do not bow to shame. Do not bend to despair. The crown rests on those who refuse to give up, on those who allow themselves to be remade, on those who endure until their scars gleam like jewels. That is who you are. Your spirit is no longer silenced, it sings. Your mind is no longer fractured, it steadies. Your body is no longer ignored, it stands honored. Together, they rise. Together they shine. Together, they are crowned. And when you step into that wholeness, you will discover what was hidden all along. You are unstoppable, not because you never broke, but because you were restored. Not because you never fell, but because you rose again. So, walk forward, crowned in wholeness. Let your life testify to the God who heals completely. Let your body, mind, and spirit move as one rhythm, one vessel, one flame. For this is the destiny of the chosen, to stand not in fragments, but in fullness, radiant and unstoppable. So let the crown rest gently upon you, not as weight, but as wonder, not as burden, but as blessing. Every trial has led to this. Every scar has prepared you. You are whole now, not half, not broken, not unfinished, entire, complete, radiant. This is your destiny, chosen one, and nothing can take it from you. Chosen one. You have walked through every word, every image, every fire and whisper in this message. You have been reminded of your sacred body, your weary nights, your unshakable spirit, and your eternal crown. This journey was never about filling your mind with ideas. It was about awakening your heart to the truth that you are chosen, radiant, and unstoppable. And now, as we close, I want to invite you to do something gentle and beautiful. Think of this space as a table where bread has been broken and wine has been poured. If you have been nourished here, if you have felt strengthened, then help set the table for others. When you like this message, it is as if you light another candle on the table, making the room brighter for the next weary traveler. When you share, you are passing a loaf of bread across the table to someone starving in silence. Someone you may never meet, but who will eat because of your kindness. When you subscribe, you are choosing to remain at this table, to return again and again for fresh bread and living water. And if your heart is stirred deeper, there is the gift of generosity. Donation is not a ticket to sit here. It is simply pouring fresh oil into the lamp so the light never goes out. It is never demanded, only offered as a way for you to join in keeping this fire alive for others. And if you feel moved, leave a simple comment. I walk whole. This will not just be words, it will be your public testimony that you have received, and now you carry the flame. Chosen one. This is not the end. This is your new beginning.